All right. So, love it if each of you just spend a few minutes introducing yourselves, covering your backgrounds and how you got into this racket, and also what your investment focus is. Hila, why don't you start?
So first of all, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me, and it's exceptional to see from year to year the growth of this conference. It's exciting, so give yourself a hand. Mindset. Thank you, Avi, and the amazing team at Matach and everyone around Mindset. My name is Hila Brenner, and I'm probably one of the first Edtech entrepreneurs in Israel. So I founded a company called White Smoke, which was really the first grammar check. It was kind of AI before AI. And on the way, I made every mistake in the startup world, but landed up raising about $40 million, white labeling it to Pearson Education, taking it public, but a lot of gray hairs from this journey. And then after that, I had another company. In my current role, my past role, I was the managing director at Techstars, the biggest accelerator network in the world. And I'm now a partner at Ariely Capital and invest in early stage startups. But a really important hat of mine is Yazamiyot. It's a female founders organization, nonprofit, with over 8,000 female founders. And I'm a huge fan of Mindset. So I remember when I was a young founder, I always wanted something like this for EdTech entrepreneurs. So thanks very much for having me.
Shachar.
Hi everyone. So I'm joining all the thanks. I'm not going to say it again, been said enough times. I'm Shachar. I think first of all, in this specific room, I should say that first of all, I'm a father of 4 kids. So that's like as a stakeholder in the system. I'm feeling like a part of the mission. Hila. Yeah. I've been investing in early stage startups for the last decade. I'm a founding partner and manager partner in a Good Company, which is a mission-driven fund. We invest in the biggest problems of humanity around climate, education, and digital health. We see it as a business decision, and we are looking for a single bottom line. So we believe that if we'll invest in startups that their product is solving a major issue in the world, we're going to generate the highest returns. And there's no way to be scalable and profitable without doing something positive to the world. Before that, I was a managing partner of another fund, also invested in a few education companies there, Shamayim, Elevation, Academy, and others. And in Good Company, we invested together with the Mindset in Jotit. That we're very proud of them, and you're going to meet them soon.
You have good judgment. So I don't know if you were here to hear the chief scientist of the Innovation Authority's comments, but he at one point said that there really isn't that much going on in EdTech in Israel, and identified, I think, 113 companies that he considered EdTech. And I've always felt in this market that there's a definitional problem, and if you define EdTech in a particular way, you're going to reach that conclusion. But if you define it the way I do, which is really technology that impacts human capital from cradle to grave in a variety of different environments, it could be much larger. So I'd like each of you to comment on how do you define EdTech, and would you agree that Would you agree that there's only 113 EdTech companies in this market? And what have you seen over the years that you've been focused on this? Like, is deal flow increasing? Do you see momentum in this market, or do you feel like it's really not going anywhere and we should just move on?
Okay, I so disagree with the fact that there is so little companies. Look at what's going on at Mindset, all right? I'm meeting amazing companies all the time. Some of them don't like to call themselves EdTech for the simple definition reason, but there's exciting companies where technology actually helps both K-12 and others and media, et cetera, et cetera. And if you look around the room here today, you can only feel the traction and how it's moving up. So I completely disagree. I think Israel is really strong on the map. And when I was a young startup, I was really one of the first. Avi remembers that. And I also didn't want to call myself Edtech. I never, like when it was a drop down, I never chose the Edtech one, right? And I still think a lot of people don't choose the definition, but I think we are really on the map there. We understand education. We are top notch in technology. And we are great with everything that has to do with it. So I completely disagree.
So my answer is a bit more complex. First of all, because I need to be authentic. We're investing in education technologies, but we chose not to start a fund that does only that, investing in Israeli founders, because we felt that actually also in digital health and also in climate, which is, let's say, like agriculture and energy, we feel that the Israeli ecosystem is not yet large enough to create a 3x or more fund, VC fund. Just you need to meet more founders. And I don't think you can meet like between 700 to 1,000 founders every year only in education technologies. Having said that, we do see it as a major opportunity. We do invest and we do actively source for education technologies startups. We are pre-seed fund. We believe that our profession is to invest before or when the waves start, and not afterwards when everyone already knows that it's a hot topic. And we look at things from the problems. So we're trying to kind of reverse engineer VC. We're looking for areas that there's a major shift in infrastructure and hardware, and haven't been yet revolutionized in operating system and applications. And we see education technologies, we can speak more about that in terms of digitization. Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah. I mean, like creating workflows and the workforce more digital and creating operating systems like the investment we made, and also inclusion, understanding that neurodivergent will be the new neurotypical, and we need to find ways to diagnose quicker, better, treat better, create environment that includes everyone, and also in terms of creating content, which like enhance, personalize, monitor, and I'm sure that using Gen AI and other technologies will be the way to solve these problems, and there is a market that will be willing to pay for that.
Just staying with you for a second, because you make investments in adjacent or even different areas. Do you bring different framework and a different investment criteria to education, or is it you're looking for the same thing and you apply the same lens to all of these sectors?
So the basic work of due diligence and deal sourcing is the same. We're a pre-seed investor. We're looking for exceptional teams, tackling a major problem and validating that the market will know how to pay for it, and we can help them to get to the product market fit and bigger investors, like growth investors in the future. But we do try to invest in each sector alongside a fund that specialize specifically on this topic, because they bring the value add of connecting to the market, to the first customers. And two, you need to make sure that when you do the round, you fundraise enough money. So for example, if we invest in a company in agriculture that does robotics, we're not going to do 1.5 pre-seed because we know it's not enough money. When it's an operating system or a SaaS solution, it can be different. But at the end of the day, it's the same.
Hila, how would you answer that?
Yeah, so I think, like I said, I'm very optimistic about the trend, and I look at the education in a different lens than I do when I look at other trends, because the people who are sitting in this room, the entrepreneurs, the people who want to change the world, right? And so the human factor, the founder market fit, is much more important than anywhere else, because it's really changing the world, and it's changing how our children and the next generations. And when I was a young founder, today an investor, I always thought it was the case, but now I'm invested in more than 70 companies today, and most of the companies are more the human factor, and these are the ones that have exited and have raised at higher valuations. So I'm even more focused on that when it comes to education. When we were talking to education companies, I also wasn't trained. Israelis are not trained to deal with corporates. They don't come from the US market. They don't know what it feels like to work with enterprise. And when I worked with Pearson, I felt it. I was really young and inexperienced. There were maybe about 3 companies in Israel that was working with such giants. One of them is sitting over there, Eyal Eshed, and another, I think, called Tua. And we used to fly to Pearson, and they used to say something to us, and I thought tomorrow morning it's going to be on 50 million computers. And from when we actually licensed the technology to when we actually launched it took about 2 years. And during these 2 years, and I couldn't believe it, every single day I thought it was tomorrow is going to be launched, right? So I didn't know the timelines. I didn't know how to work with the executives. So I think it's a whole different ball game today.
How are we doing on time? 5? So one more question to both of you, and then I want to open it up to the audience. What are you hearing from your LPs? How do they feel about education, and how has that conversation evolved over the years? Shachar?
I think basically the people that invested in good company agree about the last slide that you presented. That there in Israel, there is the basic human power, knowledge, and how to build startups, how to grow them, how to bring them in the market. The question is, will we do good enough job in creating the ecosystem so a great founder, when he's considering to start a new venture in education, he needs to see that there's an ecosystem to support him. Because if he see, like the founders in Israel are very smart. If they see there's nobody to invest in their venture, and there's no corporates active, nobody's coming to Israel, so they'll probably decide to build something else. They won't pursue. I see, because I'm looking at the deal from 2014, it's already 10 years, more and more great founders, second-timers, very experienced people who wants to build things in education technologies. Part of our job is not only to invest, is also to do these kind of events and create the ecosystem for them to choose that this will be their life mission.
Yeah, and just before you go to insert, like, I think you're spot on that we need ecosystem development, and what happens is if you do have that first generation of founders who successfully exit, they become angel investors for the next wave, and so on and so on. And we're still in the early days, but I'm confident that it's going to happen. Would you take that question quickly, and then we'll open up to the audience?
Yeah, I believe in it. I'm hearing that LPs are more open to that. The Israeli situation is difficult today. A lot of LPs are worried about what's going on here. I actually saw an email from an LP yesterday that said they're not investing anymore in Israel until the situation becomes clearer. So it's not an easy situation, but I'm optimistic it will be okay.
Okay, we're on a tight ship here, so I think we're out of time. But I'm sure that they'll be happy to answer any questions.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.